Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm here with another standard deck profile. I still have a few that coming up, but new set is also coming out, so I will see how I schedule all these. But I think this deck I do need to cover it before we get the next wave of updates, which is Granfia. So I haven't covered Granfia since the promo release because I haven't get a chance to actually get the card until I went to Japan like May, and then there's a lot of new stuff coming out, and like I have to put a lot more time on Soccer actually because I love Soccer a lot more, and Granfia was having interesting updates in a way that the updates is also available for everyone, so I pushed it a little bit later, but then I just play tested it recently, and I think the deck itself is really getting a lot better. Unfortunately, with Gandeeva is still on the field on the competitive matter right now, this deck probably won't be able to give you any kind of wins when you are playing against Gandeeva, because you will just lose your noble plant token, so that's a bit unfortunate. But if you are just looking for having a fun play with this deck and like playing with friends, or just kind of like in a shop tournament, and which is more casual wise, or you will see different deck types, then I think you can bring this in and surprise people and have fun with this deck, because this deck is giving you a very easy to play concept, and most of the stuff isn't that expensive, especially with my build. It's not very expensive. There's only like 4 cards I would say you can count as expensive, except Granfia itself. I think when first released in English it's a little bit expensive as well compared to JP, which you can get like very cheap, but it's still rather more budget compared to a lot of different decks. So without further ado, let's go into the content and see what actually get updated and what makes the deck a bit better, or at least to myself feeling a lot better. So let's talk about the right line. It's still the Granfia right line, where it's still kind of better. While you generate only 1 plant token compared to Lurua, you can get 2. But since I'm not going to like input Redalina into this build, so it doesn't matter. And the kind of free ride, unless you're facing like a retire heavy deck, then you usually would get it off. That's why I'm still using this right line, which to me is totally fine, and it's the easiest way to actually enjoy the deck, if you ask me. So here we are with the right line. Nothing too much to say. Generate a token, maybe a free ride if you have a token on the field, and that's all that matters. And then you go into Granfia, and then we have 3 more Granfia in our main deck. So now let's talk about Granfia again. If for anyone who are like basically new to Granfia, he has 2 skills. One of them is an active once per turn, so +1. Then you put all your plant token as a plant gauge under a noble rose token that you call to the center back row. So what you will do is you have, say you have 1 plant token, you have 2 plant tokens, and then when you soul +1, you generate a noble rose token, and you just put all those plant tokens under as a gauge. So this way they will just gain power. Your rose token is a base 5k token and will get +5k per plant gauge that you have under it, and starting from there, as long as you have a rose token, all of your plant tokens that you call will not go onto the field, but instead will go under the rose token. So once you get the rose token going, you will not be able to get extra regards, but that will help you a lot not only to pump your Vanguard to a very high power level, because if you have 3 under it, it's a 20k boost. So even without personal ride, you can still kind of be threatening, which is the main selling point of this deck. And also a second skill is when this unit attack battle ends, you can retire from your Rose token or your gauges, because when you need to pop a like a token card, then you can actually use the plan gauge instead of killing the whole Rose token and all the gauge gone. So if you have 3 gauges with 1 Rose token gone, and you need to retire 3 token units, then you can just retire. You can just take out the plan gauge and leave your Rose token there, so you can keep stacking more plan gauges if you want to. And the second skill requires you to retire or take out 3 cards from your gauge or your Rose token itself. So again, you can just take out the plan gauges per Rose token to fulfill the requirement, and then per each gauge or the Rose token that you eat up, you will select 1 regard, and that card will get plus 5k per card that you take away. So if you have 3 gauges, you remove 3 gauges, that unit will get plus 15k. And if you have removed 3 or more, including the Rose token, then you can actually stand that regard, which allows you to do a 4th attack. And what is good about this is you usually can just clear your gauges after boosting your Vanguard and withstand a regard. And worst or worst, if you only have 2 gauges, you can still also eat up your Rose token to be the 3rd one. So unless you only have 1 plan token, then you can't actually activate the restanding part. And most times I will be only retiring 3 gauges per turn, and then get 3 back, and then just keep doing it. So there is a constant 15k boost, but if I actually need an extra, then I will do more. Some people will go very aggressive, will like, okay, I will remove 5 gauges 1 turn and plus 25k. That works. But with this build, I think 3 is fine. And the reason behind is I'm using these cards, which is my sword stack and X Beetle. Now, this pair is also being included when I first build Granfia. A lot of people are using other cards that also helpful, but what I'm aiming for here, which I also used in my previous version, is that as long as they are both on the field, they both will get 10k. So disregard this on the field, disregard this on the field. And with this build and the recent updates from like the last few months, it's actually making it very easy to achieve. And what's good about this is you have a 23k body without personal ride. So if you don't have personal ride and you are relying on some other supports, which usually will only be 13k, that's not going to help you out that much. But if you have a 23k body, they will not be simply just intercept and survive for a day. They at least need to give you 15k. And if you personal ride, they will be 33k, which is very, very huge. And also with the Granfia plus, I will usually just put plus 15, right? So even if I don't personal ride, I'm swinging for 23k and the 38. So these are good numbers. Of course, if I get ways to pump them 5k more for the first attack, it will be more scary that they will need 20k shield to guard. But I think 23k is still a very good thing to use, and I have a lot of cards to actually reborn them, so they will be a good target for you to ditch to your drop zone for using your right line, and you won't be hurt about doing so. Next, I'm running 4 of the orange. So orange is your second main plan token generator, I would say, because with these on the field, I usually won't put orange in front when I get to grade 3. If I'm going to grade 2, then I will always put orange on the field, because when orange appears, you get a plant token, and when battle phase starts, if your Vanguard is Granfia, you will get another plant token. So you will get 2 turn as long as this card is on the front row. You will get, basically every turn you will get 1 if you're on the front row, and on call you will also get another 1. So that really feeds up your plant tokens by a lot, and it's a card that you don't mind it to get pop, you don't mind it get like targeted for attack, you don't mind it to you use it for intercepts, because you just need to call it back again and it will bring you another plant token, or maybe S plant tokens, right? So it's still a very strong card to use, but the thing is I don't put him on front row that much anymore unless I don't see these guys, or if I just see one, then I probably will put an orange out for extra plant token while I have like an AK boost or something, so make it a little bit scary still. But most times I will be using these 2 as my front line, and maybe have this at my back row. Unless for the early games, then I will have like 3 plant tokens with grade 1 skill. From right line, I gain 1, this call 1 on plays, I will start to call another 1. Then I can do 3 attacks, even if I just got an orange. So that is still something that helpful. Give you early pressure to your opponent. Unless they get defensive, maybe you will get offensive triggers as well, and then it will just become a good plant token generator. And then 3 DNF. Now DNF is one of our monster reborn, because you will only be able to bring something back when your Vanguard is grade 3 or higher, so you will definitely be able to bring this back, and she is a very good boosting unit as long as you have 2 grade 1 or lower regards in the back row, which she will be 1, and your rose token will be the other 1. So it's very easy to achieve. Even when you are early rushing, you will always have like 2 or more plant tokens. Then she will also be a 13k attack roll boost, which even with a simple 5k plant token, you will still be hitting for 18. So if your opponent's on grade 1, even they get the defensive, you can still hit. So yeah, she's just that good. And then 3 mushrooms. Now mushroom is a better plant token generator compared to orange, because it's easy to reuse. If you're in your soul, it gets you 2 plant tokens. If your Granfia is grade 3, then you can also plus 5k to another unit when you pop the skill to generate 2 plant tokens. With the 5k, we adjust these 2 guys into 18 or 28k, or 38 if you personalize, and that will just be enough to threaten your opponent. So I put this in, but then I actually need orange for early rush, so I use 4 orange instead of 3, and I'm using 3 mushrooms instead of 4, because mushroom I need to take it away to get 2 plant tokens, and the 5k won't come in until I go into grade 3. So for early rush purpose, orange is still better. But once you get into your grade 3 and you're looking for a better plant token generator, it will be the mushroom. And then we have a promo, Fairy of Candor Darian. So Darian to me is actually saving the deck so much that it provides us 2 things. One is a plant token, because at the start of the battle phase, if it's in the back row Riga circle, if you're a Granfia Vanguard, then you will just call a plant token for free. Just come up. Of course, you choose not to call, but usually you will. And if your Riga circle have a Noble Rose token, then card pass 1 and draw 1. And it didn't say bound by name once per turn. So if you have 2 of them, then you can generate 2 plant tokens, counterblast 2, draw 2 cards. And based on what you see right here, because I'm going to show you my last normal unit will be 4 PGs. The only units that you are using counterblast are DN and Darian. So you're going to bring someone back with a counterblast, or you keep drawing cards by counterblasting one. So you definitely have the room to keep counterblasting and keep drawing cards. And as long as this card stays at the back row Riga circle, you'll get a free plant token every single turn. So that already helps you a lot. This will generate 1, this will generate 2, you get your freeze. Call this, get 1. This start of the battle phase, you call another one, then you at least, including the rose token, you're free. So there's a lot of things that you can just get free plant tokens as long as they are on the field, and this provides you draw. And sometimes with Granfia, our weak point is we always don't have a big hand size, and we need to commit a lot on the field to be scary, because you won't get any extra plant tokens on the field. All of them will become the plant gauge under your rose token. So this is a very good card that stays on the field, and as long as she stays on the field, she will just keep giving you all sort of support, right? So this is really helpful. And another card that is helpful is a Regulus piece, the Forvidor. So this allows me to bring out 2 Grey Freeze with different names from my deck or drop zone, and call them to radar circle. So basically 1 pair of these. And when this card release, the first thing people think of is actually these, and I'm so happy people notice that. You can just simply bring out 2 23k attackers just playing in order, and also this helps you squeeze your deck compared to Frozen Resentment, which I'm still using, that only look at 3 and you might still miss or see something that you don't want to put into the drop. This directly pull 2 cards out of your deck, and even if you only can find one, you can pick the other one from the drop zone, because unless you are that unlucky, all of them go to damage, then you will be able to get the other pair very easy, right? And once these are pulling out, then you can already use the DM to reborn them, or your Frozen Resentment to reborn them. So if you see this, make sure you keep it in your hand and just prepare to bring both up during your first turn on Grade 3, and you will be happy. Yeah, so everything except triggers, just this easy. And speaking of the cards that I think are expensive for, is basically these 4. I think the other ones should be Couchy DF, maybe another expensive card, but if you really don't have the budget to get DF, or if you have to choose from DF and Darian, I would say you pick Darian, and then you can just from these 3 slots you can change into maybe another mushroom, and then another Resentment, and maybe another Darian, right? So if you want to make that happen, you can do it, or you can also use all the cards if you want to, but so far I think this is great. So yeah, now triggers. First, Sariki OT, you can choose to use the elemental one as well, but because we don't have anything that gives crit to a regard constantly like what we have with Prison Dragon, of course you can run Prison Dragon, but I think the 23Ks with the bucks are great, so this is still better because you get to do the front, you get extra draw, you might get a heal, you get crit, you get everything. For soul and crit, we need souls, even though I don't see myself running out from so many playtests, but it will eventually happen sometimes if you like keep using your orders, or you need to keep generating those tokens again and again. So sewing crit is also always helping you out. 3 more crits, and instead of front I'm using draws, but the 10k draws, so that I get slightly higher in defense. And compared to front, even though I keep drawing cards, but I don't see myself getting enough cards still, so I'm using draw instead of front. But if you want to go on like a full aggressive, you can change them to fronts, but the weak point is you are relying on Darien to actually help you survive by drawing cards, and you won't be able to try to get more cards when you take damage to hit the draw trigger. So unfortunately, so far I think draw is still better than front in this deck, even though I'm like a person who like fronts a lot. But yeah, I think draw is still better. And then just for heals, which I put 1 slot for any kind of evac kills if you want to use. This one, so far I'm using the prevent multiple attack ones, but depending on your meta, if you really see a lot of decks with crit, like built-in crit, then you change to another one. If you are seeing a lot of decks that using cards to do more than 1 attack per card, then you can use this one. Or if you really don't like the effect triggers, you can turn them into the normal one instead. So everything works. Okay, now let's do a very simple tutorial maybe for people who have not like tried Granfia. So first you start with this. When you run on this, you gain nothing, and when you run on this, you get yourself a plant token, which I usually just put behind. So maybe let me take out the plant tokens real quick. Okay, so yeah, that's how it works. And depending on what you have, if you are just lucky to have this, then you probably will be doing this, right? And even if you also like have like this, you can call it right there. If you have this, you can also call it right there, right? So this will probably be a good formation for you to do attacks, but you might not have orange. So what will happen is likely you have this, and you will call a plant token here to do 2 attacks, right? And this already like give you that much of an advantage already. And next turn, when you go into your Granfia, assume you have only 2, then you just Soul Blast, get your Rose, put this 2 in, and from here, yeah, a few thanks to you. To me, the most ideal method is to play the order immediately. Do this, right? This already gives you 23, and then better starts this, and then you're swinging for 33, right? And then you can bring this back and swing again. Or you can just do things like this, bring this up, and then swing for 38 and 31. Right, so that's a lot of things you can do immediately just with 2 cards, basically. Right, 2 cards bring you a whole field. I think that's more than enough for you to do a lot of things. And depending on if these ones get killed, then you can just use your DM, you can use your Frozen Resentment next turn to bring them back. Then if you're person writing, just keep hitting, and if say if both of them get popped, then start a return. If you really have these two and also a mushroom, then remember to use your mushroom first. Do this because you're using 3, right? And then you'll get 2 back. Wait, no, that is actually a mistake. Now that reminds me, you actually need to use this first or this, up to you, depending on how many souls you have, or if any good stuff being put in your soul. You actually need to use one of these, bring them out, and then you play the mushroom. So say this is what I did, and then you put the mushroom in, generate 2 tokens plus 5, and then you use another one to bring this back. Up to you which one you want to plus 5, because I don't see that much of a problem right here. But if you want to switch this from a base 31 to 36, you can do that, but I don't see too much of a difference. So again, up to you, because changing to 36 sometimes can dodge a single effect from trigger guard, and then when your battle starts, you get another one. Then you can just do your thing again with this speed, right? And as long as you keep taking damage slowly, don't take it too fast. Take it a little bit slow, do a little bit early guarding. Just keep yourself like 1 counterblast for drawing cards on your graveyard turn. Unless you need to bring one back with at the end, then you can take another one, but don't take too much early game, because we don't have a lot of high defense, and we are using our attack points to actually exchanging for resources from your opponent, which doesn't make your hand size big and like very defensive by all means. So be careful. You need to leave room for hopefully surviving a turn of Grip-Free, surviving a turn of Person right? So you take probably 2 damage early game, you go in, and then when they start getting their Grip-Frees, if they aren't hitting you that hard, then you probably will give some cards to guard to limit your damage to probably 1 if possible, and then you can be better to take 2 hits during their Person turn, which will save you a lot of resources. But at least you can survive like 2 great returns, and at the same time you are always trying to win during those turns, because if they go to their second Person usually, unless they don't have any more resources, which you did really well, if not, you probably will lose. Yeah, so I think that's all I need to tell with this deck, which is quite easy because you just need to get yourself these, keep it stay there, keep generating plant tokens, and you're happy. Yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel for more deck profiles, deck fights, unboxing videos. I do have some matches with this deck recorded, but I need some time to edit them, and then they will roll out and you'll see how I actually use this deck to play. Share it with friends if your friends is looking for a Granfia build, or if they're entering Vanguard and they are looking for kind of like a easy to play deck and with certain level of power, except against like some meta decks like Gandeeva. I think this is a good choice. So yeah, that's it for me today. Thanks for watching guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.